Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to session 3 for the day. I think we've been on a roll today. First, we created our contacts, got them into Town Central. Now we understand how to do that. Then we built upon that with some e-card marketing, how to do the e-cards and get those out of the system, which was great. And now we're talking about personalized action plans, how to get this system to start being nearly like your assistant. That's going to be really cool. We're going to enjoy this one. If you've missed the first 2 classes, the training department will be putting out a recording of the first 2 sessions, so have no fear. The information will be there for you. Just give them a day or 2 to get that out for you. Send them an email at training@bhhstown.com if you need that link. With that said, I'm going to hand off to Kristen Fredericks for the 3rd time today, who will take us now through how to build the personalized action plans. I love this section of Town Central. I think you will too. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll interrupt Kristen as we go along, or we'll do our best to answer them as we are moving along. Kristen, all yours.
Thank you, Ralston. All right, so for this last session today, or if you're joining me for the first or second time, we're going to be talking about the action plans that are available in Town Central. Now, I mentioned in my last class, and I've said this before, action plans is just another fancy word for drip campaigns, but we call it action plans because our system goes well above and beyond just sending out automatic emails to your clients. So our system has the ability to also schedule in things like meeting reminders and task reminders, in addition to the information that's also going out to people. So in order to get to the action plan section, you're going to go ahead and click on marketing at the top of the screen, and then you're going to click on action plans. Okay. And you'll notice I have a bunch of action plans in here. Of course, this is my training account, so we've been creating lots and lots of different training action plans over time. But we have lots of different versions here. I'm just going to filter. This will come in handy later as you continue to build your own action plans. But you'll notice this button on the left-hand side up here. It says filter by. So we have different kinds of plans. Most of you are probably going to use either the stock plans, the plans that are already built into the system, or as you start creating your own and start personalizing them, you can choose the My Plans. I'm just going to click on stock plans so you can see all of my training stuff go away here. If you've never used the action plans before, this is what your dashboard will look like. So we have lots of different action plans in here. We have the birthday action plan, the buyer action plan, client for life, closing, home anniversaries, the monthly newsletter, that's our most popular, new client action plans, new listing action plans, offers, sellers, and of course the wedding anniversary action plan. It's very, very, very easy to add people to an action plan. I'm going to take a look at this one first. This is your monthly newsletter, and it's sent out on the 4th. So our system has created an entire 12-month calendar of really nice newsletters that go out with just generic real estate information that are branded to you, that go out on the 4th to whoever you want to select it to. Notice that it's on a calendar. So the type is, of course, a calendar type. In my case, there's 12 activities, 1 for each month. And right now I have 24 out of my 29 contacts signed up for the monthly newsletter right now. This is going to show you how many of your contacts are actually signed up. So I'm going to go ahead and click this monthly newsletter sent on the 4th, just so you can see what these action plans or drip campaigns look like. So this one happens to be only emails. So it's going to give us our real estate advisor, January, February, March, April, May, June, all the way through, and it goes all the way through the end of the year. Sometime in late December, we'll refresh this, and it'll pull in another 12 months of newsletters so that we can continue sending them out on our monthly newsletter. But for right now, it just goes through the first 12 months. If we go down here to the bottom, you can see I already have some people subscribed to this. Hopefully you caught the first 2 classes. If you didn't, you'll know how important your contacts and groups are if you want to start sending things. So for example, for this action plan, which is a monthly newsletter, I'm going to go ahead and add all of the people in my contact list to this really easily. So I'm going to click this white button here that says Add Contacts and Groups. And I can either add people individually by starting to type their name, and it'll come up with a list of suggestions of people. I can also add them by my segmented groups. So maybe I have a group called My Neighborhood, and I have all the people in my neighborhood assigned to that group. There's my neighborhood group. I'm going to show you that tip and trick that I like to show everybody. If you type in the word all, one of the groups that comes up is something called all contacts. A monthly newsletter is something that's really easy and nice to send out to every single contact you have in your system. It's basic, generic information about real estate, lots of different topics that are timely, and it's information that can go out to just about anybody. I'm going to hit the all contacts button here, and it's telling me that I'm going to add the contacts or groups all contacts, and I'm going to hit save. So what it's done is it's gone through my system and it's added every single contact to receive this. And you'll be able to see that down here where I have all of my contacts who are assigned to that individual group. When they were added, when this ends, so in this case for everybody right now, because we're only scheduled out till December, it's going to end on that date, but it's going to go ahead and refresh, as I said. And then it's going to give me the status. So it's going to tell me what they are. So in this case, this person is unsubscribed. In progress doesn't mean that it's waiting to be sent. It means that it's in the progress of the whole action plan. So we're in the middle of an action plan. Well, actually, we're at the start of an action plan right now. So this person received the February 1. In progress means that they're going to receive the March, April, May, June, etc. Okay. Notice that this one says scheduled. This is somebody new. So they've just missed the deadline for the February 1, but now they're scheduled, so they'll receive it in March. So they haven't received one yet, but scheduled means that they're scheduled to receive the next one. The nice thing about adding it is for all contacts is as long as you keep adding people to the system, they will keep receiving this monthly newsletter as long as it's tagged all. The same goes for any other group. If you are able to get somebody new from your neighborhood and you're able to get their email and name and address, you'll be able to send something to them and they'll automatically be added to this as it goes if you start adding by groups. So you'll notice that in this case, these are people that have been grouped by my neighborhood right here. If I add people to my neighborhood group, just because I added the entire group, it'll go ahead and send it to anybody I add. So we're making sure that this system is nice and easy for you to work with. Again, for those of you who missed the first two classes, you can create as many groups as you want to. You can name them anything you'd like. You can segment out your contacts and clients however you need to make this system work for you. Okay. All right. I wanted to show you what that would look like for a pure email campaign. I'm going to go back to marketing and I'm going to click action plans. I'm going to show you a different type of action plan. So we have something that's built for something like days versus a calendar. So a calendar means that we are sending out something on a fixed day. So for the monthly newsletters, it always goes out on the 4th. For holiday cards, you can pick the day that it goes out. But you may want to set up something that it goes out in terms of days instead. So 1 day after doing something, 3 days after doing something, 7 days after doing something. Let me show you what this client for life action plan looks like. All right. Notice that it's going out by days. So it's not based on a fixed date over here. Okay. But also notice that there's different types. So this is why we call it action plans versus a drip campaign. The action plans are not only a drip campaign, but you also get the added effect of getting task reminders for yourself to make interactions and with your client. So in this case, it's going to tell you on the date of their actual anniversary, or client for life plan. So once you put these people on client for life, maybe you put them on there the day they close. So their follow-up would be the day of their home anniversary. Instead of sending them out an email, you're going to get an email instead that says, hey, James Buyer needs a phone call today because it's been 365 days since you put him on the client for life action plan. You can also tell yourself whatever you need to on this one, and that's what it would actually say on here. So you can actually see this. We're going to say follow up here. This one's nice and easy. It's just the task type is follow up. So when you get that email, it's going to just say that you can follow up and why. You'll be able to put those notes in there as well. But until then, on the client for life action plan, after 120 days after you put this person on this plan, they're going to get something about gardening ideas. So of course, this is just generic information. 240 days in, they're going to get something about decorating and design. You can see as time goes on here, you're supposed to call them on their home anniversary every year, according to this action plan. Or you can go ahead and send them an e-card. You can add people to this. So as soon as maybe James Buyer has closed yesterday, we want to go ahead and add them on here. So we're going to put James buyer. They close their house. I'm just going to hit save. And now James will receive his first email from this in 120 days. He's going to receive a gardening ideas from me, just a nice touch piece. But a year from now, I'm going to get an email as an agent that says, hey, you need to follow up with James Buyer. It's their home anniversary, for whatever reason for that follow-up. Okay. I want to show you a couple of other different types of action plans. I've shown you some that have lots of different days in them and a calendar. You don't have to have multiple events under it. Here's something we have called the birthday action plan. Has one thing in it, one happy birthday email. I have assigned, in this case, all of my contacts to receive this. As long as there is a birthday in their client profile up here in my clients, remember we've gone through this already, clients and client list. As long as I have that birthday in there, it'll go ahead and send them a birthday card, a birthday e-card on their birthday. Here's an example of it. So here, that's me actually. I've set myself up as a client under Mary Agent. That is my actual birthday of January 6th. I got an email from Mary Agent on that date with a birthday card in it. The nice thing about this is this works exactly the same. If you have all of your contacts assigned to this, then as you add their birthdays, they'll start to receive it. So if you had all your contacts assigned to this and you just received Sam Smith's email, Sam Smith's birthday, you just figured out what it was. As you add that to the system, they'll automatically be added to receive this information. So the system is working intelligently for you. You won't have to go back and assign these people as you get this information. As long as all your contacts or certain groups are in there, it'll go ahead and send things out. Again, it's going to show you whether somebody is unsubscribed or scheduled to receive something over here in the status. So we know that people use action plans in their own way. We have some agents who love our action plans, but they want to tweak it just a little bit. Or they have a certain set of things that they do for every single client, and they want to start setting that up in the system. Maybe they have a checklist for what happens. And maybe you have a checklist for what happens when you take a listing and you have these 15 items that you always do. You can set that up as an action plan in here. And it doesn't have to go out to your clients at all. It doesn't have to go out to an email address. You can actually set something up as an entire action. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing I want to do is show you something nice and easy. I want to show you how you can modify one of the plans we have already. Maybe you look through this and you realize that you love one of these plans, but you just want to tweak it just a little bit just for you. So you have something like this, maybe the new client action plan. So this is somebody you've just met. This is, of course, based on days, and it's a combination of emails, phone calls, emails, phone calls, emails, phone calls, and it's based on the number of days. You want to add some things to this. Maybe you have your own way of dealing with your clients. Maybe you want to add a couple of new e-cards to this. Maybe you want to add a couple of different types of follow-ups to this. But this is a good base, and you really like it, and you don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. See this button up here called Copy? You can take any of our action plans. You can even take your own action plan and you can copy it, and then you can start to edit it. So we have this new action plan that's a stock plan in here, and we can say maybe my plan. I'm going to hit save. Okay. Notice that the name changed up here. New client action plan, my plan. But notice what happened. All of these things became clickable, and we have some new buttons. Add an email, add a task, or remove activities. So we can go ahead and maybe add, we can add an email. We can add an email to this instead. So we have right now a new client introduction, a follow-up, a market watch, touching base with a phone call. Can I answer any questions, email, and a follow-up? Maybe we want to add a little something else. So we're going to hit add email here. And it's going to take us to that email stock library. Hopefully you guys were in my last class when we talked about email marketing and our email stock library that's built into the system. You can use any of our stock templates that we have. You can also use your own templates. So if you've built an e-card based on what you want to say to your clients, especially a new client introduction, you have certain pieces that you like to send out to somebody you're working with and you've built those already in your email library, you can go ahead and choose any of those as well. And those will all be in here. These are all things that I've created for all of my different classes that are in here. And for all different reasons, these are all customized emails that I've created for one reason or another. If I don't want to use my templates, but I want to use a stock template that we already have in the system, I can do that. So maybe for this new client action plan, we're going to do something for this year. We're still a lot of us are still on virtual. We need to tell people that we know that we're all in this together, that, we'll figure out the modifications to how we're going to show property, and we're going to send this out. Maybe this is just for this year that we want to modify something. So I'm going to pick one of these 2020, we're all in this together. And I'm going to talk about virtual showings. Maybe some people don't want us in their house yet, but we have to talk about alternatives for showings. So we'll talk about virtual showings. And I'm going to hit save. Give it just a second to pop in here. All right. So notice that virtual showing has showed up as number 7. Okay. Obviously, I want to do this before day 15 because this is kind of important information right now. We can actually go ahead and move this if we'd like. Oops, it added a second one. That's okay. I'll show you how to delete it. See these little 3 bars right here? This allows us to reorder anything. So if we add something to one of the e-cards and we want to move it, I'm just going to mouse over those 3 bars. I'm going to pick it up like a block. And I'm going to move it. So maybe we do our new client introduction, and then I'm immediately going to tell them that things have changed, and we may have some in-person and some virtual showing, but here's how we accomplish that. Okay. And I might want to send that on day 2. So I'm going to put my day in there, put that in there as day 2. So day 1 from signing up this client, they're going to receive the new introduction. Day 2, we're going to talk about changes to what happened during COVID. Day 3, we've got a follow-up. So it's going to send me an email as an agent that says, hey, you need to follow up with these people. And it's going to say why. So you have the ability to put some notes in here, and this is going to show up on that email that you're going to remind you that you need to do these tasks. So this is a new client action plan. This, of course, is generic for everybody. So this will be a follow-up. Maybe the task notes will be, to go over COVID modification showings. So they received the e-card yesterday about it, and you want to talk to them today and see if they have any questions about what you sent them. And that's going to be a phone call. But this is a good time to show you that you can make these tasks anything you'd like. And this is why I was saying, if you have a checklist for things that you do all the time, for new clients, for showings, for listings, for whatever it is, if you just want to be reminded of anything in here, you can. You can make this an appointment or a meeting or an open house. This can just be a task, something for you to do. It can be a showing, or of course, in this case, we're going to have this as a phone call. And here's where we have that no automated email reminder. If you need an email reminder, you can actually get an additional email reminder, however many days, weeks, however many hours before, minutes before this is starting. So maybe with this phone call, I'm going to do it 12 hours before my phone call and hit save changes. All right. So now my follow-up on day 3 includes the task note that I need to talk to them about the e-card that they got yesterday about modified showings right now. Okay. This is a good one here. I accidentally put in an extra virtual showing card. I don't need this one. So if I just put a check mark next to this, and I can hit remove activities. Now, be very careful. If you hit delete, you will delete your plan. So notice delete and copy go with the plan line. And by the way, I did this, which is why I point this out. If you check something and you want to remove the activity, make sure you click this, not this, remove activity. And it's going to say, do you really want to remove it? You're going to say yes, and it's going to go ahead and take that out for you. Okay, and done. So we've modified this plan. We've added an extra email. We've added an extra task in here. We've modified a task. We can go ahead and add a task if we want to. Again, there's all of your different options, your task names, your task notes. These are for you. So if your task name is something like, maybe we have a send out welcome kit. Maybe you have a personalized client welcome kit. Maybe it's just a couple little items of value, some information, just a welcome to Berkshire Hathaway kind of thing. We don't really need any task notes. We know what our welcome kit is. We can have a task. Maybe we'll send it out the day before because we know we need to get our assistant to do it for us or have somebody drop it off. And we can go ahead and hit save. Here's our welcome kit. Remember, we need to move this because it probably needs to be much earlier in this process. Again, I'm just clicking those 3 bars. I'm just going to move it. So they're going to get that new client introduction and, oops, didn't drop it real well. Oh, don't mean. All right, and I'm going to put a day on here. So maybe this is also day 1. So we're going to go ahead and send them out their welcome kit, or maybe day 2, we send them out their welcome kit. So we have lots of stuff going on in here. Now, these days can be scheduled out as far as you want to. Remember, we saw that one that was client for life. The days don't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9. They can be 120. They can be every 30 days you do something, every 45 days you do something. So this days can be whatever you want it to be. The other question that comes up pretty often is, what if we had done something like this where we had added the send out the welcome kit and we left it at the bottom, but we changed the day to day 2? Totally fine to do that as well. I just find that as you start working in some of these, that it's easier just to move them around and make sure that your stuff is in the right order just for you when you start working with these. But if you want to add a bunch of tasks in here and keep the dates 2, 3, 7, 8, 120, whatever you want to do, and keep them out of order, you're welcome to. I'm just saying, for somebody who's worked in the system a lot, the 2 seconds it takes to make sure that it's in the right order will help you going down the line as you get used to doing these kind of things. So again, we can go ahead and add any contacts or groups that we want into this as well. So normally with a new client, we'd obviously be adding an individual. I'm going to add Adam Jones to this. They're just starting to work with us. We're going to be showing them some property here. And I'm going to hit Adam and hit save. And now Adam is going to go ahead and get this for the next 15 days. So tomorrow, today he'll get that new client introduction. And then tomorrow, I'm going to get an email that says I need to send out my welcome kit to him, my little basket of stuff that I give to every new client. And he's also going to get, of course, that email for virtual showing. And then on day 3, I'm going to get a reminder to me in my email that says pick up the phone and talk to Adam and talk to him about the virtual showing modification, talk to him about the modifications for COVID showings, and make sure they don't have any questions and make sure they have all the equipment they need to have showings. And then, of course, we can keep going on. So that's how you can copy an action plan that's already created. But you can also start from scratch. So I'm going to go back to marketing and back to action plans. And we can start something from new. And that's this button right up here, create a new action plan. Remember, if you want to copy something, you're going to go into an existing one and hit copy. But if you want to start from scratch, you're going to hit create new action plan. Okay. And it's going to give you the options here. So we've already talked about a couple of things. We've talked about by days. So that's where you're going to schedule things out. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, whatever it happens to be. By calendar, those are fixed dates. The 4th of every month, major holiday dates, whatever you want to do on there. The couple of other things that are based on dates that are already in the system. So we talked about that birthday action plan. If there's a birthday in the system, it'll base it on that birthday date. Wedding anniversary is the same. Home anniversary is the same. This one is a little bit different. This is a little bit more advanced, but this is something called based on sign up. For those of you who are super active and using your website for your buyers and sellers, especially your buyers, you can start to design an action plan based on somebody who comes to your website and signs up for more information. This might not be somebody you have a personal referral to. You haven't had a lot of interactions with them. They don't know anything about you. They got your name off the internet. They got your name from somebody else, but they've signed up on your website to do something, maybe a saved search. You can actually set up action plans based on those people. And those are the people who need to be cultivated with not only information about you, but also what your website does and what the company is. And it's all that information that takes somebody from being a cold lead to a hot lead. It's all that information in between with the sign up. So this is great for those advanced users. We'll do a class on building those signups because they're a little bit different. There's a lot of steps in there, but I do want you to know that it is an option if you're looking to create something based on an action on your website, that it's there for advanced users for right now. In this case, I'm going to do one by calendar. So I'm going to do something nice and easy just because it's easy to explain. We'll do holiday cards 2021 and hit save. Right. blank slate, but it looks the same as everything else. Again, here's what the action plan is we're working on. If you hit this delete button, it's going to delete your whole action plan, even though it'll ask you if you really want to, but if you're working really fast and hit OK, it will delete it. And we have these options. We can add an email or add a task. So in this case, let's add an email. So I'm going to add an email. I'm going over to it's going to open my email library. And here's my stock templates. And maybe the first one we want to schedule is Easter. It's coming up here. So it's giving us our options of Easter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I'm going to pick Easter 3. Now, you may be asking yourself, I don't see a preview of what this looks like. The easiest way to start this will be to go to your email and your email marketing library and pick out the ones that you'd like to use, make a little list, and that way it's nice and easy to choose as you go forward. So we have Easter. Easter's coming up this year, and I think it's on April 4th this year. It's early this year. So that one's going to go out on April 4th, 2021. Maybe I want to add another email. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to maybe add something for Memorial Day. That's the next one I think that comes up. And I'm just going to pick an e-card here and hit save. And let's see, Memorial Day is 5/31. So that's going to go out on 5/31. Now, remember I said you don't have to do just emails in here. You can also add tasks to remind yourself to do something as well. So maybe you are going to do a Thanksgiving giveaway. So you're going to add a task in here. Okay. And maybe it needs to be something like send out Thanksgiving baskets. Maybe you send your clients a thank you for being my client basket every year. Instead of sending them out just an e-card, you're actually going to send them something, and it's going to be a task. And you want to be reminded of this maybe 1 week before just to know that it's coming up. Give it a second to add here. And then, of course, you can put in that date. So remember, this is for you. This is your reminder. So this is a task for you. And it's going to go, let's put it in Thanksgiving. We'll send out our Thanksgiving baskets. Let's see, Thanksgiving's probably around the 25th this year. Let's send out our Thanksgiving baskets on the 11th. Nice and early. So you're going to get that email reminder that you have to do that task for you. You can add other things as well. So if I add another task here, maybe I want to add a phone call. So for the Christmas holiday or for New Year's, maybe I'm going to add something here. Maybe I'm going to do a holiday hello call. Maybe I have a thing I always do where I call my people around the holidays just to check in and say hi. It's going to be a phone call. I'm going to get that reminder maybe 1 day before and hit save. And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe schedule. I'm just trying to do all my touch points here in lots of different places. So maybe I call them between the 2 holidays when people aren't so crazy. Maybe I spend my Wednesday afternoon on the 8th just calling people for the holiday just to say hi. Okay, all my prospects. And of course, you can go ahead and space some of these out too if you'd like to. So you can see how we've added here. We've added a couple of emails to go out. We've given ourselves some tasks. We've given ourselves some phone calls. And again, we have some people who create this and it's all emails. We have some people who create this and it's all tasks just because they want to get an email reminder to do something for a client. We have people who use it like this, where it's a combination of emails that go out, tasks for you, and also follow-ups and interaction reminders for you as well for phone calls. So for all of you who are trying to create those plans where you have a mix of things like don't forget to send out postcards or order postcards from marketing for a certain event. You also want to combine it with emails, but also want to make sure that you get those reminders to call people who are in your database. This is the way to do it. This is why we call them action plans, not just drip campaigns, because they go far beyond the drip campaigns. Even though they contain drip campaigns, they can actually manage all of your different client interactions and reminders and make sure that you stay on top of contacting your clients. One of the things that we know of is that so many people forget who they actually work with in real estate. And this is a great way for you to be reminded as well as them that you're actually in the business and make all those personal touch points there. Did anybody have any questions about creating your personalized action plans?
Well, I knew this one was going to be a lot of fun. This is a great foundational tool for you to put in place, especially at this point in the year where you're going to be, uh, most of you most likely already very busy. But this would be a great time to just kind of iron out what your normal process is and put it in here as a plan, something that can send you reminders. You notice it's not all about sending out an e-card or sending out a postcard and that sort of thing. Some of it is just remembering to make a phone call. You want to make that call for the anniversary so that you can ask for additional business. There's so many other things that you can do with these action plans. So are there any other questions for Kristen before we end this segment? All right, with no questions heard, thank you so much for joining.